and I think that Rick's character works best when he's being a good dad.
Yeah.
And I think that he's trying to set a good example for his son, or just trying to keep his son
Or
alive. Great.
yeah.
So good. Like I love like Joel Miller, he's a good dad, like that's
Yeah.
my favorite type of like character, but it works for me.
Fathers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe
So
Miller and Rick Grimes are very distinctly different people.
yeah, they have very different approaches to being a dad.
I think
Also, Ellie would kill Carl like any day of the week. I'm telling you.
this is true. This is the truth.
Like who's raising the stronger kid? It's Joel.
Joe easily. But I think again, so Rick and Carl's relationship very realistic. Joel and Ellie's relationship also very realistic, very different way.
It's real to me. Like it's genuinely they communicate in ways.
I mean, I get what you mean, but at the same time, I think Rick and Carl's is more down to earth.
Well,
Joel and
it's
Ellie's is
different.
more like that's what I'm saying. They're both realistic, very different ways. And I feel like one of the biggest aspects to that is that we've completely jumped topic, haven't we? But one of the biggest reasons
To a
to
different
that,
video, to be fair. So keep going.
one of the big reasons for that is because Joel in and of himself is a very separate human to Rick. It is like Joel is this guy who has done horrible, horrible, horrible things. He's murdered. He's
Well, yeah,
like
Joel
stolen.
spent 20 years into the apocalypse before he's met Ellie.
Exactly, and like this guy has burnt the fudge out. Like he once upon a time he had a will to live. That's not pushing him anymore. His own life isn't pushing him anymore.
Yeah.
The people surrounding him that he vaguely cares about, that's what's pushing him. Okay? And he doesn't even care about those people that much either. He is a remnant of a man who was great a long, long, long time ago. And just that remnant in and of itself, right, is more than a man that most people could ever want to be. And then he's thrust into this world where, and mind you, this guy had a child who was, how old was she? Like 11?
Sarah
8?
was like 14, I think. No,
Somewhere
maybe a
around
bit
there.
younger.
Somewhere around there, right?
Yeah.
And he lost her, and that was the beginning of the fall of the world to him, basically, right? Because the world had an apocalypse, also his world had an apocalypse, and those two things happened at the same time,
Sarah
right?
died on Joel's birthday, day one.
Yup. And then you have him being introduced to this Ellie, and like you can tell, there is nothing this man wants to do more than go home, get drunk, and never think about these people ever again. Like never even think about Ellie ever again, right?
No, yeah. Joel does not fuck with Ellie like at all at the start.
And
But like
it's like the universe forces them together, like two magnets, right?
it's not
And
even I don't know, it's not even that. Like Joel doesn't I feel like Joel is someone who is afraid of
yeah,
feeling because the last time he felt anything, his
he lost
daughter
everything.
died,
Yeah.
I think that the first hint towards Joel feeling any type of way towards Ellie is when Joel starts to see Ellie through. He starts to see the world through Ellie's eyes.
Yeah.
They're at the top of the building, looking at the Capitol building, and he says, "Hey, is this everything you hoped for?" And then Ellie's like, "The jury's still out, but you can't deny the view." And then he looks down at his watch and he like touches it. And then Tess is like, "Hey, what the fuck you doing, man? Come on." um,
And that
and
was the beginning of the
that's
end.
the first time that like Joel thought about Sarah and Ellie.
Without being unconscious, high, or drunk.
Yeah, and then Joel becomes Ellie's like
He
protector.
becomes Joel again. It's like
Yeah.
this what's the word I'm looking for? This ember, right, has just been fed like an entire tree. And it's like all of a sudden, like it's not like this man died. He's done horrible things. He survived horrible situations, but he's still a father. Like no matter
He
what.
never stopped being a dad, and like
And it's the one thing that shines through. And then okay, pivot. Rick Grimes, like this guy's a father in a world where his kids are being taken care of by the mother. He's worried bringing money into the table. He's a cop. He's worried about setting a good example, not getting shot. He's
that's
afraid. He's like
definitely it. Rick is a symbol to Carl.
Carl.
Yeah.
Um, he,
Whereas Joel is about business. Joel is about
yeah,
protecting Ellie,
protecting,
whereas
being
Rick
there
is
for
trying to
her.
teach Carl to be a good man, you know?
Exactly.
Also,
And
it is worth noting that, like, Carl is a lot younger than Ellie,
yeah,
and also Rick is his, like, that. I don't know if blood has anything to do with it, to be fair.
right.
But this is like Joel met Ellie when she was already her own human,
Yeah,
whereas Rick raised Carl, if that makes
yeah.
sense.
They have a father-daughter
So it is
relationship,
a
but they're
different.
friends.
Yeah, exactly. They are like it is. This is more highlighted in season two. Like it is, you know, the scene in season two.
I know exactly what you're talking about. When
Like,
he looks like is he whatchamacallit? I
he
can't
did
remember the
not know
building
what I
he
was
was
talking
in.
about.
He was in a building, and then he like crouches down, and he's speaking to Carl.
Oh no, I was talking about Joel. No, no, no.
Oh. Sorry, you
No,
said season two.
no, yeah, sorry. Part two, game two.
Okay,
No, yeah,
nice.
like it's a choice for Ellie to be in Joel's life. And this is highlighted in the opening of season game two. Fuck, where Joel shows Ellie that he can play guitar, which is a promise he made in the first game, and then he asks if do you want to learn, and then
Yeah.
she says yeah, and that's like a kind of a weird like unspoken agreement that they're both agreeing to be in each other's lives, and then it breaks my heart that that's not what happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, okay, going back to how the relationships differ, it's like Rick Grimes is this symbol for Carl, and Joel is this is this connection. It's like as much as we'd love it to be so, um, real life, like existing parent-child relationships aren't friendships.
Yeah, no, they are not.
99.9% of the time. Sometimes the kid grows up and it becomes a beautiful flourishing friendship that's healthy and balanced, and that's the best case scenario. 99% of the time there's a bunch of issues and loads of things happen, and it kind of feels like the parent is trying to take care of the child and the child feels stifled. The child grows up believing they were stifled, even though that maybe their parents were in the right, but it doesn't matter because they were a kid and now they're an adult, so they perceive everything they thought of as a kid to be kind of like that's the reality that they lived in, and the parent will always see this adult as a child in their eyes, and you have this whole mess, right? But it all starts with that beginning part where the parent stifles the child because they want them to be safe, and in stifling them they also do other things like wanting to be a better person to show that child, like, yeah, this is how you be good, this is how you be my child, this is how you be the best. And all of that sub undertone is very much present in Rick and Carl's relationship. It's not present in Joel's and Ellie's
Well,
because she's not a baby.
what I
She.
do find interesting
Mhm,
about that is that Rick's uh, not Joel only has Ellie to think about,
mhm.
whereas Rick
Rick
is
is
the
Thread.
leader of a group.
Yeah, and his wife
And
as well, who's also pregnant late season.
yeah, this is more of a conflict in season two, but like Rick has to sort out group dilemmas, negotiations with Herschel,
Ugh,
to stay on the farm for the
yeah,
baby and for Carl. Whereas Shane views being a father as only looking out for Carl and Laurie. It doesn't matter about anyone else, you know? And
yeah,
I think that I don't think Rick's was trying to be the good guy. I think that Rick needs to do this stuff so they don't fucking die, you know?
yeah,
And in doing so, it can be viewed that he's being neglectful of Carl. Like he doesn't spend as much time with him. He doesn't show him how to be a man. Carl
yeah,
sneaks off and he doesn't even notice. He doesn't know what's going on because he's trying to get Herschel back from the bar.
yeah,
You got Carl sneaking off and like stealing guns and shit. And then they
yeah.
have that really deep talk on top of the barn, and he says, "Look, kid, I will die one day, and
This
your
is the one I'm
mum's gonna
talking
die
about.
one day, and this is the universe that we live in, and you just have to step up." I do think that in terms of father-daughter relationship with Joel and Ellie, it's more of the way that Joel views the world through Ellie's eyes is what's captured. You got Joel who explains what ice cream vans are.
Hmm.
You got Joel explain what day one of the apocalypse is like and how leaving all of your things is not what's hard. you've got Joel not only protecting Ellie, but then like Joel's reactions to Ellie, like how Ellie wants to learn how to whistle, and then he's like, oh, no, this is another annoying thing that you can annoy me with, and then she does it, and then Joel's like, oh, great. And then you've got, Joel's reactions to Ellie's stupid puns. I think that, like, I love Ellie and I love Joel so much individually, and then them and they're together, it's perfect. It works so
But then
incredibly well.
doesn't that so smoothly go into the other fact where when it comes to Rick and Carl's relationship, it is just that. It's Rick's relationship with Carl.
Yeah.
And like you get Carl's kind of side of it, and it
I will,
exists.
mild spoilers, Carl does grow up.
Oh, damn, I thought he
Um,
stayed a child forever.
yeah, he doesn't stay a child forever. I think that like Carl's most interesting in season 4.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
but like, what's there's so much wrong again with the Walking Dead situation because Carl was going down a really, really interesting character arc, and then they kind of just scrap it.
Right.
And it really pisses me off because
That's
at the end of season 3, I know we haven't finished it,
Mhm.
but Carl does some real Shane-like shit.
Oh,
And Rick realizes that he needs to start parenting him.
yeah,
Like
properly.
Rick gives up being the leader of the group just so he could be a good dad.
Right.
And
Oh, spoilers.
yeah, and like he just teaches Carl how to like do farming for like half a season,
Right.
like do really
Okay.
nice stuff, and he like stops wearing guns and he stops making Carl wear a gun,
Mhm. Right.
And I think that like that's some of the most interesting stuff because Carl's got that dog in him, like Carl's not right because
Right.
he's a kid who remembers the old world and like is
The
growing
new
up in
world.
the apocalypse,
Yeah.
whereas Ellie's only ever known the apocalypse,
The
and
new
Joel
world.
and Ellie's relationship is built around murder and killing.
Yep.
He gets praise for killing men, Yeah, like
And
it
they
is
save each
about
other from
survival.
dying constantly.
Yeah, I do
Um,
think that like Joel and Ellie's relationship is incredibly well is it works well up until like the autumn bit, and then you play as like the whole winter arc is like the best, most harrowing sequence of a game I have ever played in my life.
it's fucking horrifying.
Yeah, because and it shows like The Last of Us. Like, wow. Okay, so the reason why the ending of The Last of Us works so well is because of that winter arc, Hadaitha.
Right.
Because not only does Ellie love Joel and Joel love Ellie, but it's like this is when they fully embrace each other. And like I have never played this game and not cried like at that ending sequence of the winter arc because you have Ellie who did everything right and she's getting supplies to save Joel who died not died but
Died
got
for
stabbed. Well,
ourselves.
you got
Yep.
stabbed protecting
Shock.
her.
Yep.
Yeah. Who he tanked like a fucking champ, by the way.
Fucking wild. Don't know how he's
Yeah.
alive.
I
Doesn't
don't
make sense.
know.
The
Um,
power of love, I guess.
yeah. And you got Ellie on her own. This is the first time you play as Ellie on her own.
Yep.
And the whole David sequence is someone like you feel like you shouldn't trust, but then he does save you, and she lets her guard down for a second. And it
Ugh.
fucking blows up in her face. And it's awful how this is someone who she trusted, and then she has to try and escape and fight, and I love what the Last of Us show did, which is different from the Last of Us game, is that like Ellie kills David, and
Yeah.
she does it on her own, and she's not stopping, and she's in the burning building, and then Joel shows up and embraces her, and then the music starts swelling, and you could tell that Ellie is not listening to what she's saying,
Right.
but like she feels safe. Whereas like in the show version, she kills David and she just leaves, and then she bumps into Joel in the snow, and I find that to be like less powerful.
Definitely. Oh, I didn't
Yeah.
know that even happened. Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn.
it's different, and it pisses me off
Yeah. Yeah.
because like that is the moment where it all changes, and then also highlighting that David is the Last of Us. Like
Right.
the people, like Joel made a decision to give up the cure to humanity.
Give up the world for Ellie.
Yeah, because when you think about it, these are the people that you're saving.
Yeah.
The Davids of the world. Every single person you come across in the Last of Us game are hostile,
Wants to
apart
kill you.
from Henry and Sam.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not. It's
is
not
it
like
worth
that's.
it?
It's. I don't think. I mean, to me, in my mind, it's not like Joel believed that there was no one worth saving. It's just the idea that in a world where so many people aren't worth saving, and there is one in my hands right now,
Yeah,
as we speak,
at
why
the
would
end
I
of the
throw
game, he
this
says
away?
he finds something to fight for, and
Yeah.
Ellie is that person for
Yeah.
Joel. And I think, like, I know that they're not blood related, but like, this is a man who loves this girl.
With all his
This
heart.
is his daughter.
Yeah.
In every way, like blood
Yeah.
or not. Whereas like Rick and Carl don't have that level of depth.
Nowhere near. But that's the thing,
Yeah,
though, right? Relationships like that are found. Even like they can exist between like parent and child. I think they're rare. They can exist, but they come with time and meaning. Time can be removed if you add more meaning. And what's more meaning than life and death? It's like when
yeah,
you're spending constant time saving each other's lives, living with each other, thinking that any moment could be your last, right? Saving one person, even though you know it curses the rest of the world to die, basically, right?
yeah.
That that makes a relationship. That makes it in every way and form. It creates that bond that can never be broken. And it's a bond that exists beforehand, obviously. We see it be forged from the second they meet to the scene where they see the giraffe to
Oh
him
my
walking
god.
away. It is like it's not as though when he
The
made
Last
that
of Us is so
decision.
good, man.
It's not like when he made that decision, that's when, the real things. It existed. It's just that he realized that it means more to him than
Yeah,
anyone else.
and that's why Ellie is his daughter.
Anyways,
And
very separate, extremely different relationships. But I think they're both amazing portrayals of, men loving their children and wanting to.
definitely, yeah. No, Rick definitely does shine best when he's with his son.
Yeah, yeah, when he's
Um,
being dad.
yeah, no, like, again, that's just our opinion.
That's just a game.
Yeah.
Um,
Even like Lee and Clementine is a different example. Like I,
oh God, okay, time to get into Leon Clem. So Leon.
we could just touch on Lee and Clementine because like again, same universe.
So left in a
Lee
world. Wait, did Lee have kids?
Lee never had kids, no.
Right, yeah. So, but he had a wife
Yeah, who cheated
who
on him and
cheated on him,
decided
and
to
then he killed
he
the
killed
man
by accident. Yeah,
by just absolutely flooring him with
he's
a
got that
left hook.
dog in him.
We always make
Lee
the
has
joke.
got it.
We always make the joke that Joel Miller has the arms of an avenging angel. Like this brother can
Fist of fury.
fist of fury. But Lee has the legs of the legs of, was it the legs? I'm pretty sure it was. He had like
This guy slips on any occasion, bro.
anyways, but yeah, anyways, Lee, my brother, yeah, he's left in this world where again, it kind of like Rick. He's like, what the hell is going on? What's
Yeah.
going on? He's in a car. He like this police officer's going off. He's introduced to the concepts of zombies. Or he goes to this neighborhood. He meets this small girl trapped in her treehouse, and he's like kind of out of his depth, but at
Yeah.
the same time, he's like, kid, are you okay?
Again, like these are different. The different forms of media, like it changes your perception of how
These
you
characters.
get these, yeah, character development. For example, the Walking Dead is something that you watch, and you could see yourself in characters and whatnot. With The Last of Us, this is like it's a game in which you play, and like
Yep.
it makes you feel scared, and like you cannot progress the story without protecting Ellie. Whereas with the Telltale's The Walking Dead, you do feel like you have to be more of a moral person
Yeah.
in the sense that like it pops up, Clementine will remember this. The way that you interact with different camp members influences the way Clementine views you and others.
She's
Yeah,
also very young. Clementine
he
is
is the
so
youngest of the three
of the
children we're
three.
talking about. Yeah,
We have Ellie, who is what, 14,
14.
15?
14.
14. But like, we say 14, what we mean to say is she's basically an adult, right? She's grown up in this world.
Yeah,
She has killed. She has almost been killed. She's seen more than most children will see in their entire life. At least children before the apocalypse. And that's not the same with Carl. Carl clearly.
10, I think.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head.
Wait, what was that? Sorry.
Carl's like 10, I think.
Yeah, 10. And like, there is no add-on to his age. He is just 10. That is the situation.
He does grow up, obviously, but like,
When he's 10, he is 10.
yeah.
And when he's dealing with the realities,
Yeah,
that
just
is
give it a goog. Apparently he's 12.
12. Oh, goddamn. He's a bit too old, bro. When he's dealing with the realities that is the zombie apocalypse, he functions and he can help at times, but at the end of the day, he is a child.
Yeah.
And then you have Clementine, who is kind of in the same boat, but 1,000 times worse, because she isn't a child. She's basically a toddler.
Yeah.
When you first meet him.
Clementine, like, okay, for reference, viewers, I like Clementine a lot more than I do like Carl.
Definitely. It goes Ellie, Clementine, Carl.
Yeah. Yep. Then again, like, don't get me wrong. I think that Carl had so much potential, and I think that he's genuinely an interesting character. Obviously,
Sure.
Last of Us is the GOAT. Clementine, for me, like, season 1 Clementine is the person that you protect, and I think that, like, that's the driving force of the narrative, and for Lee Everett. And
Lee.
season 2 is for me when, like, Clementine's, like, genuinely the GOAT. Like, genuinely
So
my favorite character in the Walking Dead universe.
She goes through all that stuff, right? And you have all these, okay, in we're not gonna go through the entire story,
No.
but you have so many moments in a camp, on a train, in a city, trying to
Yeah.
survive,
And
looking
you
for
teach...
a boat.
Well, that's what's more. That's what helps as well. It's like we love Lee, and we teach Clementine.
Yes.
And then you play as
Clementine
who
with
has
the teachings
to-
of Lee.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh,
God
cheat codes.
damn, they cooked.
That's how they get us.
It's so beautiful and it's so good. And the thing is, it's like, if Lee wasn't as amazing character as he is, then
Yeah.
it wouldn't have as much of an impact. And if Clementine wasn't as innocent and as awesome as a child as she was, it wouldn't
Oh
have
yeah,
hit as well.
great kid as well. Great
She's
kid. in season-
Delightful child. And
Yeah.
also the silly little moments where he's like, did you eat that, or did you put that?
Yeah.
And then she's just like, no.
Did you put bugs in Doug's bed? It's something stupid.
And it just shines through with this whole world of zombies in it and stuff. And obviously, the Telltale games has a very distinct feeling compared to the rest of them. Last of Us has a very realistic, but also it's a game and it's animated, so it's like wild and crazy looking and stuff. The Last of Us is a more realistic take, obviously being a live action. It has CGI, it has zombies, but like vines aren't
Last of
growing
Us
on
makes me cry.
giant buildings. Yeah. And then you have the Telltale games, where there is this kind of rustic, kind of old feel for this animation. And
Well,
you have
the
that very
Telltale games looks like how the comics are, just
right.
with
Oh.
color,
Nice.
and that's why I like it.
It is. It looks amazing too. I really need to
Yeah.
read this comics. But you have Clementine grow as this character, and the thing about Clementine is that maybe, so I haven't played the second Last of Us game yet. It's on the list. We'll get to it.
I think we've played the opening
beginning.
of The Last of Us
Yeah.
like twice now.
I think so. But Clementine grows, and I like you, as you were saying. Again, I've only watched season 3, so I don't know how much Carl grows either. So maybe I'm blind to them, but I can say Clementine's growth is ridiculous.
Okay,
You s-
well, talking about that, like when Carl grows up, Carl is not Rick.
Oh,
And when Clementine grows up,
Clementine.
Clementine is very much like Lee.
I think the second one and the third one. No. The second. So we're on the fourth one today, right now, right?
We're in season 3 now. We haven't finished.
Oh, okay.
But
So the
season
first one-
4, Clementine is definitely like Like that's a narrative point of the
Okay,
fourth one is like it's the cycle being completed
right. So,
because
uh,
Clementine is looking after AJ, who
okay.
is like Clementine's age from the first one, a bit
So
younger.
for the third one, there is this anger in Clementine. There's this like distrust and anger,
Yeah, no, she's having
and
a bad time of it.
yeah. And I think it's very distinct from Lee because Lee has this anger in him too, right? But this anger is kind of separate. Lee is this kind of person who understands, like at the end of the day, he has things he wants to protect. He has the type
Yeah,
of person he wants to be, and he will try to pursue that more than whatever vengeance that he wants, whatever like anger piques his interest. He won't react in. Obviously, we are kind of
depending on how
joking.
you play him. Yeah,
Yeah. At least in my eyes, this is how
yeah,
I played Lee. Okay, he won't react in anger for the sake of
he's
getting a
pretty
point in.
chill. Yeah,
He's a chill dude. Clementine
he's
isn't
just a
that
chill guy.
in the third book. In the second one, Clementine is Lee just because she's the only adult there.
He is
She's
the
surrounded
only
by
voice of reason.
she's surrounded by old men and she's the only adult there. Okay,
Yeah.
get the guns. Like get out of here. Get out of here.
Especially
Um,
like looking after fucking what's her name? Fucking Sarah and
yeah.
shit.
Oh
Oh
God,
my
Sarah.
god, yeah.
That's
No, she
devastating.
is the only
Yeah.
voice of reason. And like cutting off like Kenny's wife's arm and stuff. Yeah, like yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Which is
doing the
another thing
most.
that we did.
She
And
is
she's
the
a
goat.
little jit. How old is she in that game? She's like 6.
I think like 2 years passes in between.
She's
Yeah.
6. She's
And what's
7.
interesting is that like Clementine spent more time with Omid and Krista,
Then she did with
and
Lee.
but she did not. Yeah, she did not get that in her, if that makes sense. Like Lee
Because
is
they
definitely
ain't Lee.
Lee ain't him, bruh.
um.
But like when Ellie grows up, Ellie is. Don't get me wrong. Ellie is exactly how you would imagine Ellie to be from the first game, but Ellie is Joel's daughter in like every sense of the word.
Right. I've
Yeah.
seen some clips of like the actual gameplay. She looks like Joel, moving around.
Yeah,
And,
like yeah,
God
and
damn.
she wears her hair like tested in like part one is
Ah.
so good.
But yeah, it is a very much a case from my perspective. Clementine has this growth that is just so indicative of her relationship with Lee and that father-daughter relationship that is created in that such a short amount of time.
Yeah,
It's present for the rest of her life. You can see how Lee affects her, how she changes, how she grows as a person, how she learns to distrust, how she learns to trust, how she learns to like set aside some things, to make other things be very important to her, to push forward towards those things that she wants, that she needs to protect, etc. And then to set aside those other things that she know are less important. It's Lee. That's Lee. I'm looking at tiny little Lee.
yeah.
And
It's
it's
funny how
just
like time
beautiful.
doesn't reflect importance, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Lee wasn't in Clementine's life for long, but like those
Was he was
values are embedded in her, you know.
forevermore. 100%. I feel like that's
Joel
something that could
is
be said.
essence is like felt in The Last of Us Part 2.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's
And
great.
funnily enough, how old was Ellie by the time we finished the intro of the second game?
Of the second game, Ellie's 19 at the start, and
How
I
many
think
years is that?
is that 4
Between
years between the two?
So she did spend less time with Joel than she did the rest of her life. And which I know, crazy sentence, right? Like, duh.
Yeah,
But at the same time, you think about it, and it's like this person survived this apocalypse. She was heralded as like the only thing that could save the world. She survived like a bunch of horrible things happening to her, I assume. Is there a DLC of her past? I'm pretty sure there is.
Ellie's past. Yeah,
Yep. Did she go through
left
some shit?
behind. It's more set in between. It shows how she got bit.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so it's not like her past.
Okay, right. But we can very easily assume that a
I
child
mean, she
growing up
grew
in
up
this
in like
world.
a
Yeah.
Fedra camp, so
Yeah,
not
okay.
Fedra, like yeah, was it
Yeah.
Fedra? Yeah.
But she spent this time with Joel, and it's like this adventure, this journey that they went on. I find it hard to call an adventure because of how traumatizing it was. But this time they spent together, it marks her so much. Not just that time, but the time they spent afterwards. With her growing up, with Joel being around.
Joel gave her a life because you do forget that Ellie was raised to be a child soldier,
Right. That's horrifying.
and she had never left the city before until she left with Joel.
Yeah, that's
She'd
the
never
first time
seen
she
the
left.
world before until she left with Joel.
And yeah, it is like you may be thinking, obviously, 4 years, that's a pretty long amount of time. But at the end of the day, it's not the majority of her life. And yet, I feel like
But
those 4 years
also,
probably
you
defined her
forget
more than anything
that
else.
like Joel and Ellie's relationship is not what you think it is from part 2.
Because I haven't even finished the game. There's stuff that I haven't seen. Okay, well,
Yeah.
okay, cut it off there, man. Okay, relax. We're gonna play the game.
Like, you assume that they had the loving father-daughter relationship, and
Right.
that's not what happened, like, at all.
Okay. Am I gonna be depressed?
Yeah.
All right.
You need to play the game before season 2 comes out.
True that, actually. All right, that will be on the docket.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay, Hidefa, final question.
Mhm.
Say you're a young kid.
I'm a boy.
Who do you want as your apocalypse daddy?
Lee.
Okay.
I
Why?
want Lee. Caring, kind, understanding,
He
respectful.
will slip on blood.
He will slip on blood, but he won't ever slip on them hands because he be feeding these people them punches, bro. I can't lie. I think in a world where I get to be with Lee, I'm not dealing with clickers, so that's why Joel's out of the game. And in a world where I don't,
Well, who's raising the best kid?
who's raising the best? Ooh,
I'm
like
not saying
best
Carl
in a fight?
Clementine. No. Not best in a fight.
Because Ellie wins.
She does. She's throwing bricks. No, but like, who's raising like the best man or woman?
I think Lee.
Okay.
Lee wins. I'm so sorry. From everything I've seen with Joel, which isn't a lot in the grand scheme of things, I've seen him
Yeah.
fight and Ellie fight, and all the moments in between is what make their relationship.
I think Joel will keep me alive the longest, but I
But will
think
you be the best
that-
person by the end of it?
Rick is probably raising the best kid.
Are you sure?
He was a police officer.
Here's the thing, right? Here's my
Lee
issue.
was going to jail, bro.
Well, accidentally killing someone. Here's my issue. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Rick is an amazing human being from season 1, right?
Also, like, there is nothing that Rick would not do for you.
But that's true. I mean, same with Lee. I can't lie. This
Yeah,
guy
but like,
I guess it's different. Yeah,
Lee wasn't on it, like Clementine left in
is true.
season 1,
He had
I
stuff
know
to
that
deal
Rick's
with.
like busy with the rest of the group, but I do think that he would be the best dad.
I don't know, man. See, the thing is with me, right? You kind of have this split in concentration with Rick, right? Where he's dealing with all this other stuff. But it's like, at the end of the day, how many times does he stop and go, I want to spend some time with Carl?
Right, yeah. Like, season 4
Mhm.
onwards is very much like him trying his best.
Right. But then
Season
it's
3, like, is when he realizes, or Herschel more brings it up, you need to sort this kid out, man.
yeah. Okay, I guess so. Then yeah, I guess maybe I'm just not giving him much. You've seen more of Rick than I have. That's
Yeah.
the thing here. So I'm talking about Rick, season 1, season 2, season 3.
Yeah.
And I think I would be a great kid with Rick as a father. I think Lee would make me a better like survivor / person.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great way of putting it. I think I would be a great kid with Rick. I think
Yeah.
I'd be a great person with Lee.
Okay.
Lee had this perspective. Also, like this guy's like a history buff. He's a very intellectual person.
Yeah.
He like even when he has his little moments with Clementine, I'm pretty sure he like tries to explain things to Clementine, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does that.
He's never like really being condescending and going like, you're a kid, you wouldn't understand. When Clementine has questions, he goes, let me explain it to you.
And the thing is, like, Lee will explain things the best that he can as well.
Yeah.
He won't sugarcoat stuff.
And he will spend his time explaining as well. Like the whole train scene.
Yeah.
When he's teaching, when he's decided
But then again, Chuck did have to like say to Lee.
True. But
What's up?
everybody needs some direction every once in a while. Okay. He
But
never had a child before.
Joel would keep you alive.
Joel would keep me alive and he'd turn me into another Joel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, like,
That's a good thing.
how good of a man you're gonna be.
I think maybe you could channel
do think
Joel
that
towards
Joel's a
being a
good
great
person.
person.
But like,
There's a difference between nice and good.
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
think Joel's mean. He's not evil.
I I think
But
oh, this sounds so nerdy. You know what? Never. You know what? I will say it, actually. There's this musical that I love. In the musical, it's called Into the Woods. There's this little scene where there's a witch, and she's like an evil witch, and like everyone's kind of getting angry at each other because they're all blaming each other for something that happens, and the witch kind of goes like, "You're so nice. You're not good. You're not right. You're just nice." And then she's like, "I'm not good. I'm not nice. I'm just right." And then it is just a poetic way of displaying that you can be a kind person and you can also be an awful person at the same time. You can be a good man and you can be kind of callous at the same time. They're not things that are mutually conclusive. They're not Personalities aren't that simple. They're not one dimensional. And I think Lee is a great example of a nice, good person in my perspective. Rick is a great example of a like level-headed good person. Joel is a great example of a person who's in the right, a person who knows what he's doing and maybe is good at his
Joel
core,
stands on business.
but also he won't sugarcoat a single thing for you. He
No.
won't, not for a single moment. Not for a moment will he let you have the blinds cover your eyes, which could be an
Yeah, and
amazing
also
thing.
like even in terms of his own actions, he doesn't sugarcoat because he's straight up told Eddie that he has killed innocent people before,
He doesn't.
and he doesn't elaborate.
He's not a
He's
man.
just like, "I killed people before." Eddie's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah, and like, does this forge a great warrior? Sure. Does it forge maybe even a great man or a great woman? Definitely, I'd say. But is it good for a kid? Like, we're thinking about growing up.
Is
Thinking
Joel
about
good for Ellie? And this is another question, but
we may find out one day, but that day's not
yeah,
today. That boy, she's the
that's
second
for the
game.
next video.
For the next video.
Okay. Okay, so if
Those
you've enjoyed us talking about Apocalypse Daddies,
apocalypse stats.
please like and subscribe for Joel and Rick and Lee.
And Lee.
Let us know in the comments, who do you think would raise the best kid?
The best child.
Yeah,
And specifically,
who would be
fighting-wise.
yeah.
I want to see these
Carl
children fight.
Clementine and Ellie have a half a brick. Who's coming
Ellie,
out?
Anyway, let's be honest here, guys. It's not really a question, is it?
Okay,
Clementine might win. Maybe.
she's pretty scrappy.
She's
Yeah,
pretty scrappy.
I mean, she beat that dog, didn't she?
She did. Then she stitched her. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Like, subscribe, comment. If you have an interesting question that you want us to answer on the YouTube, write it down and we'll get there.
Throw it into our comments. And yeah, if you can think of any more apocalypse stats, slap it down
Yeah.
there too. Because we
Or
couldn't put our finger on it
mummies.
anymore.
We could
Or
do
mummies.
it with
That's true.
mummies.
That's true. We feel like we've been a little bit too concentrating on the daddies, you know. But like, you know, they're hard to miss. You know, Joe Miller,
Yeah.
big guy,
Fist of Fury.
disappearing.
Yeah. Okay. See you in the next one.